Hi, I'm being guided to share this message today. So, as we continue to ascend into higher states of consciousness and all the false programming continues to fall away, the control, the lies, the manipulation, all the things that come with that false programming, the things that we've been conditioned to believe, the ways that we've been conditioned to live, continues to fall away. The veil gets lifted more and more. And that voice within, that voice of our true soul essence becomes louder and clearer and actually more prominent. We hear it more. We start listening to it more. All that background noise is becoming less and less appealing and convincing. Because that's what the ascension process is. It's the falling away of all the lies so that you can stand in your truth, the truth of your soul, the truth of your I am presence, so that we become conscious creators in alignment with our true soul essence, in alignment, full alignment with source energy. And the biggest red flag in the ascension process is fear. Anything that is fear-based is low vibrational, and that includes any fear-based messages or teachings that you may hear in the media or on YouTube or anywhere else. One of the fear-based messages that we have continued to hear about throughout this ascension process is that ascension is only for certain people, only for a select few. Actually, in other words, 144,000 few. And I've talked about that lie in some of my previous videos, because that is not the truth. Ascension is for everyone. Another fear-based message that we tend to hear about is about the solar flares and the solar flashes that continue to come in. And I want to talk about that one because that seems to be a very intense fear-based message at times, whether you're hearing about it in news or you're hearing about it on YouTube or just in general. Let's talk about that. The solar flares, the solar flashes, the solar rays, whatever you want to call it, they are waves of energy. They are rays of light. And these waves of energy are a part of our ascension process. It's all energy. And these waves of energy, these waves of light energy, is energy of knowledge. It's the knowledge, the truth coming into us and allowing all the lies to fall away. These rays of light, these solar flashes, these solar flares are not of darkness. They're not of destruction. They are not of the demise of Earth. It is light energy for the demise of conditioned beliefs and behaviors that are not in alignment with our true soul essence. The sun is a masculine energy, and it brings daylight, awakening. It brings the truth. It's the awakening, the light of awakening. The moon is feminine energy. It brings night light. It brings the guidance through the darkness and into the light of the day. It's that balance. It's the yin and the yang. So the solar flashes and solar flares are not something to go into a state of fear over. And natural disasters have been happening on Earth long before these solar flashes and solar flares. Gaia is an external expression of the collective's internal state of energy. She will always reflect back to us what we are experiencing as a collective energy. It's kind of like ripple effect. As above, so below. As within, so without. From subconscious to conscious. Everything is connected. It's all energy. Sometimes going through this ascension process, at times we may have a difficult time interpreting the energy. And therefore, we tend to see it through a lens of fear, and then we project that fear-based energy outward. And most of the time, not even realizing that that's what we're doing. It's just due to a lack of understanding or a lack of interpreting the energy. However, there are some times that projected fear-based energy is used as a form of control or a form of manipulation or personal gain. So that's where your discernment comes in. Use your discernment, know the difference. Have compassion on those who are just operating out of a state of misinterpreting the energy, a state of not really understanding the energy clearly. Also, though, remove yourself from those that are operating out of a low vibrational motives, the ones that are trying to use it for self-gain or manipulation or control. Use your discernment. You'll know the difference between the two. And something to be aware of is if fear-based energy is resonating with you, it's because you are still operating in the mental realm of fear, the vibration of fear. And don't let pride fool you. Just because you've ascended to a higher level of consciousness, that doesn't mean that you will remain there with no effort. None of us are above falling back into lower states of consciousness. We all can be subject to those moments at times. It takes diligence to walk in the truth and not to slip back into a state of ignorance. Guard the gate of your mind. Once you become free, remain free. So let's talk about fear for a moment. Because when we know what it actually is and what it is not, it makes it a whole lot easier to be able to choose wisely. The true purpose of fear is an instinct. It's an internal alarm system to let us know that we are in actual present danger, and it requires us to respond with a fight or flight action. Fear is a tool. It is not meant to be a state of existence. It's a tool to be used when in clear and present danger, and then to be released when that danger is no longer a threat to us. We are not designed or meant to perpetually occupy a state of fear. Use fear for what it is meant to be used for. And then always, always, always return to your natural and true state of being, which is love. Love is the opposite of fear. Love is not the opposite of hatred. A lot of people think that hatred is the exact opposite of love, but that is not true. Fear is the exact opposite of love. So step out of fear. Don't remain there. It's not where you were meant to exist. It's not what you are designed to remain in. Step out of the fear and into love, your true soul essence. Be diligent with your ascension. Guard your minds. Use your discernment and stay awake. Stay awake. So I'm sending out much love and blessings.